Welcome to the Virtual Stab Comedy Theater. It's time for the Suzette Veneti Show. Please welcome to your screen, Suzette Veneti.
Hey everybody, it's what is it? It's November 29th. It's that makes it a Sunday. So if you have anything to do for Christmas, you still got time. But Hanukkah's coming sooner this year, so get your Hanukkah duties, obligations, whatever. Tell your Jewish neighbor hi, or whatever you do. Hi is a word in Hebrew, so maybe don't say that. Just give them good greetings. Whatever. I'm gonna move on. This got weird. I just have neighbors, okay? And they're not as good as they used to be. All right. Natalie Portman made the news because the 39-year-old actress was wearing Daisy Dukes on her day off down in Australia. As a 37-year-old who wears Daisy Dukes on the reg, I really don't see the newsworthiness of that. If you got the legs, people will be jelly. Ken Jennings recently named the interim host of Jeopardy to take over at least temporarily while the show searches for a new host after longtime host Alex Trebek's death. Jennings' role as host may be in Jeopardy. Sorry, I had to. Eye roll. After the internet found old tweets from Jennings, where he tweeted at least two different tweets that people are mad about. Oh, something's happening on my screen. Hold on. One of them references a differently abled person, and the other one references a terminally ill man who was granted the chance to see Star Wars movie before it was made available to the public. I'm not going to repeat his jokes because they were of poor taste and not all that funny. Really, open mic hack level. Like, cool. You came up with an asshole joke. Good job, Ken Jennings. He was clearly trying to make the jokes in his tweets, but that just goes to show you that you can be great at Jeopardy, you can be smart, you can be a future millionaire, but not everyone can be funny, Ken Jennings, and you're one of those people. You're just a hack open micer. In Minnesota, Katie Morlock fed a squirrel that was in her yard, fermented pears. She named him Lil Red. The fermented pears got Lil Red lit as he returned back an hour later, swaying and looking for more pears, while wearing a backwards hat and challenging everybody in the yard to arm wrestling. 'Cause he was drunk. Let's see. Comcast continues to dare people to find a new service provider or a cable provider after sucking since the beginning of time. Comcast has made it known that they'll raise prices up to $5 per month nationwide. In addition to that, they're going to put a cap on people's home internet with big penalties if anyone goes over. I was going to make a joke that somebody was going to dig up in 10 years and try to cancel me for. So I'm just going to say Comcast is the joke. Boo, Comcast. A wildlife bridge in Utah is making national news. The bridge that goes over the highway is filled with logs, boulders, dirt, gravel, and other natural elements to encourage animals that would otherwise attempt to cross the highway into using the bridge to go over the highway instead. The wildlife bridge has proven to be a huge success, and now people are messaging the Utah Department of Transportation to figure out how to make more of these pathways to keep the roads clear of wildlife hazards. Representatives of California have even called, trying to figure out how to keep those trucks with the Trump flags from getting on the roadway. Like, if we build a bridge over the roadway, will the Trump trucks take that bridge? I'm proud of that one. Maybe it was wordy, a bit fatty. Pfizer's vaccine is being flown in on dry ice, it's being flown in packed in dry ice on American Airlines charter planes. In the case the vaccine acts up, United charter planes. Been a long day, tired. United charter planes. United representatives will beat it and kick it off the plane. That was an old joke, and I messed it up. In a related story, a headline from the Motley Fool reads that Pfizer's vaccine candidate is effective but has issues. And I'm like, don't we all? Leave him alone. In a follow-up to a joke that I told on September 6th, the world's loneliest elephant, Kavan, you can go back and see there was a joke about an elephant named Kavan, is finally being set free. Cher even got involved with Kavan's plight. The 74-year-old singer, activist, and legend threw her star power behind Kavan's plight to help him get free, and is even on her way right now, or maybe even there at this point, to Cambodia to see Kavan get to socialize with other elephants for the first time in his life. He's 35. He's not even my age, and he gets friends. I want friends. When asked about this, Kavan, the elephant, said, "It's cool and all, and I'm grateful for Cher, but dude, she has no wrinkles. Seriously, I'm 35 and I have a million times more wrinkles. How is that possible? It's making me feel bad about my own skin." Because he's an elephant. Okay. Let's get on to the contributors. Coming in first.
We've got nobody.
We have nobody. Okay. Well, I'm just going to talk while we get a contributor in. See, it's technology, and this is why Comcast needs to not be shitty and raise prices, because you have problems sometimes with Zoom. We all have. Who hasn't had it? Like, I can't see you at home right now, but raise your hand if you've had a problem with Zoom in the last 7 months. And, like, thank God it's there. Trust me. You know, it helps us all do shows, make meetings, see family. I know a family that did Zoom Thanksgiving, so it's great. But sometimes things get a little wonky, and it doesn't go the way you want. And that's when Comcast should be helping us, not making it harder. And you're like, Suzette, why don't you have more jokes to stall? Well, because that's the jokes that I wrote. Yeah. What do you guys think about the Suzette will raise money by walking up the hills in San Francisco in her 6-inch stiletto heels? I think that's a good idea. Also, I had a cute coat, but I couldn't wear it because it reflected the lights poorly. So you're going to have to come to brunch. And our first guest will tell you about brunch when he gets here, but that's not yet. It's cold. It's December. Almost. So, like, it's getting cold at night. So make sure you're using lotion, because your skin will get dry if you don't. Yeah. So if you're watching this show on Twitch, then you're noticing, if it's your first time, you're noticing that Twitch, the channel that we're on, is Stab Comedy Theater. And that's where we're filming. And I'm really grateful for Stab Comedy Theater, because without Stab Comedy Theater, we wouldn't be here filming. It's a really cool theater. And in the before times, and one day the after times, it will have improv and comedy and maybe a drag show. But right now, everything's online and digital. So I'm really grateful. And I know Small Business Saturday was this weekend. So if you want to support a small business, right over my head is Twitch's Stab's information, and you can send money and support a small business. There's some hoodies. They're really soft. I have one. I would recommend them. So just saying, think about it. Give it a thought. Okay. And with that, we are almost ready to bring on our first guest. Just going to make sure he's around. So if anyone has questions for me or the show, you can message us on the, which side would it be? I think that side. I can't, nope, that side. It's this side. On Twitch, it's this side. And on YouTube, it's underneath us. So you can send in questions. Suzette, what's wrong with your hair? Nothing. This is how it looks. Suzette, when are you going to have good guests on your show? Today. Every day. All the time. With great contributors. So, there. I've answered those questions. Send better questions if you're going to send questions. Or you can send those too if you want. But those were easy for me to field, is what I'm saying. Viewers, you won't believe it. Oh, we have Clifton? Cool. Oh, I didn't know. I thought he was getting situated. I couldn't see him on mine. Okay. Clifton, you're there. I'm sorry. I was stalling.
No, it's okay. Hey, Suzette. Zoom is being very homophobic today, and I had to do it from my phone. That's why I have the wonderful workroom in my background right now, because I had to do it from my phone. It did not like my computer today for some weird reason, but she's here, and she's queer. How are you?
I'm cold and bold.
Well, I mean, you was out there looking like a little hoochie today at brunch, I saw.
That's my job.
Little Baby Spice and little Britney and Katy Perry
Mm-hmm. Oh,
and Ariana Grande with
don't forget my
wigs
Ari.
and everything.
I like the big hoodie. I'm a convert. After like seeing it on her, I'm like, oh no. But then wearing it myself, I was like, yes, that's a look.
It looked really comfortable, and I was like, maybe that's the new thing. Maybe I should get one too, or
I recommend it. I don't know what size you'd have to get, because
I'll probably have to get like a 3XL or something, or I don't know.
if you can look, even with the boots, it was still where it was at. It was a comfy look.
So in the celebrity world
Tell
right
me.
now, so the Grammy nominations just came out, and you would have thought that it was the episode of Into the Draglands because the girls are mad. The girls are mad. Some of them are rightfully so to be mad. Some of them, I'm just like, girl, shut up. So The Weeknd, after spending a whole year looking like he got into a bar fight to promote his album, got snubbed. No nominations whatsoever. None. And every performance, he literally looks like he got his ass beat with all these bandages, and that's just been like the whole aesthetic for like the whole time promoting this album. And then Justin Bieber just had the audacity to be upset that he wasn't nominated for Best R&B. And I'm just like, girl, Justin, no, just be quiet. Just shut up. And some of the artists that were upset, I understood. And some of them I'm just like, maybe next year, who knows? But that was the interesting thing this week. And did we talk about Alex Trebek? Was that last week? Did we talk about him?
We didn't talk about him. I think it's still timely if you want to talk about him though.
So, Alex Trebek, may he rest in peace. He did pass away. And I would say that was probably one of the first game show hosts that I can remember like having a connection with as a kid. I would say it was like Alex Trebek, Bob Barker, Pat Sajak, and who would be like the other one? There was like one more, but like that's like the holy trinity of like you're sick from school and you're staying home with your grandma game show hosts. Everyone knows them. But Alex Trebek was such a fascinating and smart individual, and he was an ally as well. He was on Drag Race a couple of times too. And
what seasons?
What was that?
What seasons?
He wasn't really like a guest. He was more like a how like on the reunions or on the crowning of the queen, they'll have like the little montage of all the celebrities that like love the show, whatever like that. And he was on that a couple of times, and it's sad that he wouldn't have a chance to be actually on the show. But it's so crazy to think like they're actually looking for somebody to replace him. And a part of me is just like either just cancel the show or maybe just have no host. I guess they're testing out quite a few hosts right now to see what fits. A couple of names that have been brought up have been like LeVar Burton. I think he would be a good host. Also, the gentleman that won remember a couple years ago, the man that went like he was on Jeopardy for like almost like 2 weeks or something like that.
Yeah, I did jokes about him because he had those tweets. Is that what you're going to talk about?
Oh, those tweets. What's the tweets?
You didn't know. Let me bring the tea to you for once.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm not going to. So his jokes were. So I do comedy. And
Uh-huh.
I know you get bad jokes, but fortunately for you, you don't have to suffer through bad open mic jokes. um, these were bad open mic jokes that he made on Twitter. One was about a differently abled person, a person in a wheelchair. You know what? We can talk about it because this isn't me making a joke. This is me telling you.
Yeah.
Ken Jennings said, I'm going to make sure I say that so someone doesn't cut this. Ken Jennings said,
It's what he said, not
right,
what you said.
not me.
Just
I
make
wouldn't say
sure.
this. Ken Jennings said, nothing's sadder than a hot person in a wheelchair. And his other joke was about, I don't know if you remember, there was a terminally ill man. This happens kind of, unfortunately, it happens enough that it's not unique. But there was a terminally ill man who wanted to see a Star Wars movie before it was released. He wasn't going to live long enough, so they let him see it. And Ken Jennings said, doesn't bode well for the new movie because everyone that's seen it dies. So...
Oh my God.
And I understood that he was like, right away, I can see where he was trying to be funny.
But it's
tasteless, you know? It's like, okay. With your friends, you might say, oh, it's sad when a hot person's in a wheelchair. You might say, oh, it's sad when, that drag queen could be pretty if she could brush her hair. Like, you're picking on someone.
Yeah.
Say it to your friends if you must. I mean, I'm not advocating that. I'm not saying you should be a bully to other people. But, like, that's one of those things that you keep inside voice. You don't tweet it.
Yeah.
Don't be a dummy.
Was this said before or after he won?
This was before, I believe.
See, this is why I always tell people, if you know that you're about to go on television or you're about to do anything, whether it's Drag Race or any reality TV shows or American Idol, or you're about to just do anything that's going to be in the public eye, just do a hard delete on everything.
Oh, he did. They found them.
Oh, so he deleted everything before he got on and they found it after?
Yeah. Because the internet doesn't forget.
See, this is why you should also, too, watch what the hell you say on the internet, because, it could always come back to you.
Yeah,
And
that's what I was gonna do. I was gonna make jokes about, like, there was a joke I was gonna make about Comcast raising their rates, and I was gonna compare it to.
They're the devil. I hate them.
They are the devil, and I was gonna compare it to something awful, which 2020 has given us a lot of awful things, and I was gonna say it's like when that thing is like, hey, do you want more of me? Whatever it is, it could be working from home, like, but I don't want that joke. Look, I don't know if I'm ever gonna be on I do. I'm not going to be on Drag Race. I don't know where else I might end up, but I don't want that to come back and hit me. I have a very good friend who's like, hey, you want to do SNL? Which would love to. That would actually fit my skill set. Although I got to say, there are certain seasons of Drag Race where I'm like, oh, no one made clothes? No one made clothes out of garbage? They just did acting.
Yeah, there were some girls that I was just like, why are you here? Then I thought about it. I was like, you know what? You're here because they need somebody to go home first.
Right? Someone's got to be cannon fodder. Like, people, look, sometimes I've been cannon fodder. Someone's got to be it. Someone's got to go. So, but yeah, I want to be on SNL. And my good friend says, what happens every season? And I said, someone gets kicked off for an old tweet that just got hired. And he said, yeah. And I said, okay. Learned. Keep some.
She don't even have a Twitter, though.
I do, actually. I don't use it. Yeah, the last tweet I had says, oh my God, last time I tweeted, I was a brunette. And the tweet before that, I was a brunette. So we're going back like 3 years.
Okay.
It's been a while.
Outside
of today, of course.
Besides that, Miley Cyrus did drop a new album. It's actually really good. It's a little experimental, but it's actually really good. And she has a song with Dua Lipa.
Okay, now I'm in. I was in before, but now I'm in.
I think you'll enjoy that. Dua Lipa also had a disco kind of thing called Studio 2050. It was like an online concert experience, and it was basically like it was like a long form music video, but it was all live. And like just the creativity in it, and Kylie Minogue was involved, and she had quite a few other people on there. Miley was in it too. And I would say what I like about the one positive thing about COVID is it's making the girls get creative, and we're actually getting these wonderful art pieces, whether it's drag or artists or singers and things like that. So that's really been the highlight of the week, was watching that. And she's actually nominated for 6 Grammys for her most recent work, which is actually really good. And quite a few other girls are nominated. Beyonce's nominated, Taylor's nominated. There's a lot of people nominated, but just not The Weeknd. And there was a horrible dad joke that came out, and it said The Weeknd wasn't nominated because the nominees were told on a weekday.
Oh, did Ken Jennings make that joke? Because that's about the creativity level of it.
Yeah, it was very like, okay, Dad, go get your coffee. But
I can't remember which show it was, but I said something, and I realized I didn't mean to make a joke, but like half of what I say ends up being a joke. And I was like, oh, okay. Must have been the second show.
But today's drag brunch was just the fun that I needed. I was by myself because all my friends are, with their friends or with their family and stuff like that, though. And I was little in my feelings this morning. I was like, you know what? Let me just get up and go see some drag queens and just have a gay old time. And it was the energy boost that I needed. So y'all better make sure to go see them, because all of them turned it. Suzette, Helen, Apple, Taryn, everybody. It was such a good show.
I heard people said it was the best one we've had, which is in no disrespect to any of the guest queens, because they're all stunning and amazing. I think maybe because I was driving over and I was talking to my friend, maybe because we were all, like, I had to do a wig change and a outfit change in one number. Like, we were all working, to make sure it was a good show, and I think maybe that comes through.
It was a good show, and sometimes you don't need a guest. You just need to work with your own homegrown people and make it work. And it actually, it worked. Everybody loved it. I loved it. I had a good old time.
Well, and I think the other thing is themes are always fun. I don't think we should overdo them. And our theme today for viewers was pop icons. So we had, Britney, Christina, Cher, Adele, Ari,
Mariah, Rihanna, Kylie.
Yeah. I think I was trying to think. I was like, I don't know if Katy Perry's in that class, but but yeah, it was.
She don't, people sleep on Katy Perry. Katy Perry, that girl pumped out 6 off of 1 hour. Many girls can't do that. I think the last girl that did that was Whitney.
Yeah, no, I mean, she has some hits.
And I don't know what she did, or I was just talking about this with my friend the other day. I was like, did she tweet something? Did she say something? Because the public really turned on her like that. And I'm trying to I don't remember. I'm trying to figure out what did she do?
I think didn't she have a problem with Taylor Swift?
Yeah, but it was, how those white girls do. They never really vocally say they have a problem with somebody. It's never said. So I don't really remember I don't remember them saying anything. And that Taylor Swift beef was from 2014 to 2017.
But that was the Bad Blood, right?
Yeah. But
okay.
Katie was still having hits then. I'm talking I would say ever since she got on American Idol, that's when everybody was just shh with her. And I'm just oh, okay.
I think, some artists have more staying power and some kind of come and go. And she has some hits. I'll say this is funny. So I asked one of the queens, I was like, oh, who should I do? And they were like, oh, you should do Katy Perry because she's not much of a dancer, so she's goofy like you. And it was great advice. And I watched her videos, and I was like, oh, no, she is not a dancer.
She's not.
She's not even
But
trying.
she plays up to her skill points, though.
Yeah. She's very much in my lane.
Yeah. I
She's
mean,
like, I'm going to walk
you're like
around.
the Katy Perry, Robin, Rihanna. Ariana Grande doesn't really dance either. No. I would say most of like the current new girls don't really dance. Like the dancing girls, that's from our generations of like the Britney, the Janet, the Paula, the
Christina.
Christina kind of, she's more of a singer than a dancer, but like Beyonce, like you know, that was. I feel like that's like the last of like the I'm gonna give you a solid 10 count in this performance and boom, 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 boom. Now the girls just kind of stand there and let the dancers do all the work. But, you know, to each their own.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking about Christina in that Dirty video. Like, she danced.
Are you getting? Is Suzette going to give us a dirty number? Are you going to get some chaps out and a long wig with the black streaks in it and everything?
I don't know if I'm ready for that hair. I was gonna do Christina actually. Helen and I traded the other day. I like doing Christina. I did one of her burlesque numbers in the summer when we were outside still. So she's, because I like doing singers. Like I like lip syncing to singers because then you can just like really emote,
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I like to do. But I'm glad you were there.
You can't really emote with Dua Lipa, but
the lyrics are fun with her,
Yeah.
So
don't attack me, Dua Lipa peeps, but or whatever she calls her fan base,
What did you think about the group number?
The group number was fun, and I love the beginning part because I know like it's true. She didn't want to be a part of the reunion, and everybody looked good, and you guys did good with everything. I love Taryn's look. Taryn really came through with that. And I also loved on the first show when she had the shoe thing, but I thought it was a part of the act.
No, that's just how good Taryn is. I'm going to tell the audience what happened. So Taryn Through You, who's been on the show, and she does brunch with me every week, and I love her. She is a motherfucking queen, like I like to say. And she was performing in some boots. And her boot, like the sole came, like this, it split, like not long ways, like the sole came off of the foot of the boot. So she kicked them off, and she danced over to a bar employee and said, "Go get my shoes,"
and not missing a single word of the song,
right? Or a beat or a moment. And he ran up and he was like, "Gotta get Taryn's shoes," and we were like, "What's going on?" And he was like, "Are the silver ones? Are these it?" And we were like, "Yeah, those are it." And he was like, "Okay." And then we came down and we saw that she broke her shoe, sent someone to get shoes, put the shoes on during the number, and kept performing. That's my perspective. You tell me what it looked like from you.
You said it head on, because like honestly, because I was sitting there and I was like, well, I know Gaga does costume changes, so maybe this is a part of the Gaga experience. That's what I thought, and that's a lot of other people thought, and it was such a good number, and everybody really it was a good show. Y'all got to get y'all tickets. Y'all got to go. I know the time is changing because it's cold.
Yeah.
So the first show is going to be at 11, and the second show is going to be at 1:30. You said.
So I messed it up because I had one too many Cosmos. Yeah. So seating is going to be 11:30 and 1:30. So showtime will be noon and 2. But that'll take us out of that, that 40-degree 10 a.m.
It was a little nippy this morning.
A little bit. And, we have the heaters, and we have hot chocolate now. I think hot cider might be coming. So there's warm drinks, and there's fire next to you. But still, if you can extend into the afternoon a little bit, and it's going to heat up, I know we like it. Well, maybe let me clarify. Apple and I like it because we're not dancers. What's really funny about Taryn's shoe is she was like, should I try to, like, should I wear the shoe again? And like, if it happens, and I think she was like half joking, and Apple and I were like, absolutely do that. It sounds like it was really cool. And Helen was like, no, don't do that. And I looked at Apple and I was like, oh, we're not the dancers. That's why we were like, oh, it gives you something to do for 2 minutes? Do that.
You don't have to worry about hitting spots. And then when Taryn did that roll on the pavement, I was like, I was just shocked. But it was an amazing show. That was the highlight of the week for me, honestly. So
I'm glad that we could provide that to you. And as always, I'm just so glad that I get to be part of it. It's somebody said to me, they were like, Suzette, your hair game was here and now it's here. What happened? And I was like, well, I have to. Like, look who I'm performing with.
exactly.
Not that I don't care about like this show, but this is my hair. Like, I gotta be me, you know. But today there wasn't a chance to wear, you know, my regular hair because I was being other people. So
Yeah.
and I don't
And
think
it came out really good.
I think maybe this could be a Britney. It's more like what's her name from she's famous. She's an actress and she voices the redheaded princess in Frozen.
Kristen Bell?
Yeah. This is a good Kristen Bell.
Yeah, that's actually a good aesthetic for you, is Kristen Bell.
I'll take it. I mean, but now Apple's telling everyone my secret that blow up doll is my aesthetic.
That too, you know. And hey, tomorrow's Cyber Monday, so somebody's going to be buying a Suzette blow up doll tomorrow. So
I'm ready for the sales to be over. I took full advantage. I mean, you saw me. Let's see. It was really just the Ari number and the hoodie, but like there was so much more upstairs that you didn't see.
Mm-hmm.
I bought Forever 21 out.
Oh, so you had a whole lot of costumes to choose from, huh?
I'm at Forever 21 so often that unfortunately there was a shooting this past weekend.
I saw.
And I felt a little bit red, but also a great feeling of love and concern because somebody we love texted me and said, are you at Forever 21 right now? And I said, I just left. And they said there was a shooting. And I was like, oh. People are like, well, Suzette must be there. That's where she shops. Especially Fridays and Saturdays before brunch.
Yeah.
Got to.
Well, Miss Suzette, I have to, even though we spilled the tea, I have to get to some other tea of mine. But thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it.
Yes, and I'll be back there next Sunday, so.
Okay, well, we have a good show with May, and I'm gonna be me next week.
Okay.
Look, I wore one pair of stiletto 6-inch heels today. Who was I?
So next week you have to make sure to wear like 3 pairs of them.
At once. I'm gonna be 18 inches of stiletto under my foot.
Just don't fall.
Clifton, I love you. Thanks for coming and hanging out. I'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
All right, bye. Okay, everybody, that was Clifton Ellison, one of my favorite people. His information was on him below the screen. You can send him some coin. Also, you can send me some coin. Not me. Stab. You can send Stab some coin. I mean, at one point my information was there. But I'd rather you sent it to my contributor or the theater that I'm filming at. So do that. Next, we're going to go with David. We're going to go with another contributor while we wait for our interview guest to battle traffic because the world is slowed down and everyone's working from home, but traffic is still a thing. So let's bring on actor, comedian, whatever he tries to do and fails at, David Shapiro. Hey, David. Oh, yeah. Uh-huh. You're going to? But I know what you're saying, like, yeah. Oh. So apparently we couldn't hear David. We can hear him in the studio, but apparently you guys out there can't hear David. And I will tell you, you are not missing much with David, but we're working on it, trying to get the audio up. I'm going to blame this one on Comcast too. Thanks, Comcast. Thanks for what you've done. You know what? I'll say something about Comcast. Everyone was being cool with their bills when COVID started. And like, hey, don't worry about it. Like, SMUD, the electric company here in Sacramento, and PG&E were like, look, we're not shutting anyone off in all of the year. Like, take your time, pay how you can, which was really nice. Verizon, my cell phone carrier, was like, we'll set up a payment plan, which wasn't as nice, but still, they weren't like, pay us or die. Comcast didn't answer the phone, just said your bill's due. And then when the bill came due and was late, tacked on a late fee. Like, you don't even have anyone working in the office. And I know I'm using the service, but we're all in a hardship. And that's what Comcast is deciding to raise the rates on people? Ugh. Comcast. Okay, we're going to try to go back over to David, see if we can
Suzette, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Oh, I'm tired. Thank you
You're
for
welcome.
asking.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
thought I didn't know what to talk
okay.
about, and I was sitting here waiting, just going through Facebook, and there
Okay,
are
we
all
lost him
these
again.
groups that people have invited me.
Figuring this out.
Some are like personal pages, like comedians. Some are, I don't even know what they are. Some are podcasts. It's some of them, like, you don't even know what it is.
I'm gonna grab the jacket.
Because it doesn't make sense. It'd be like if I
Keep talking.
invited someone to, like, Mario and a frog. I mean, obviously, like, that's behind me here, but how would they know what Mario and a frog is? I guess they could click it, but that's the thing. I don't want to click these things. I don't want to make fun of anyone, but, like, call anyone out by name. But, like, it's just to get the numbers up? I'm not going to follow, a blog, or, I don't know, a radio station. I don't even listen to the radio. I haven't listened to the radio well, I guess I did the other day. That's because my phone ran out of battery when I was in the car, and it was wet, and so I couldn't charge it, and so I had to listen to something. So I put on XM radio, but not like somebody I know's radio. It's just that there's so many Facebook groups, and I think I would quit Facebook if it weren't for the fact that I attempt to do stand-up comedy. Because I just got to the bottom of it. And at the bottom of all of the groups that you've been invited to, that you haven't yet accepted or declined, which I have so many, you can create your own page. So, excuse me. Oh my gosh. Your shows are late. I need sleep. My dog needs sleep. But yeah, so I mean, just so many Facebook groups, and then it's always from like people that you haven't talked to in 16 years or longer, or people that don't like you, or people you don't like. Like here's one, Suzette Veneti I don't want to. No, I'm just joking. I would follow something that you sent me, but there's people that I know don't like me that have sent me something to like on their page. And it's like, what? You don't like me? Why would I like your gardening page about your home garden? I'm making this up. I have a friend that has a garden, and I adore that friend. So that was a bad example. But you know what I mean? Why would I accept your what kind of salt goes on the stove page when you hate me? I don't want to follow you because you hate me, because I don't like you back, you know. So don't send me an invitation to your page, which means they probably just sent it to everybody, right? They probably just didn't pick me. They probably sent it to everybody. Hold on a second. Oh, okay. Yeah, we gotta wrap this. Hey, get out of there. Yeah. Come here. Ugh. Okay. Just gonna hold. This is Eli. He lives here with me. You could say he's my roommate. He's my friend. I take care of him. And I'm holding him because he has a bad habit of consuming his own feces. We're working on it. It seems like a lifelong battle for him. But I think he just did a good job walking away. I've yet to go inspect it. So hopefully he doesn't lick me or anything, because that would be disgusting. But I want to finish this segment with you. Yeah.
Okay, let's finish it. Well, I don't even know what we're talking
any
about.
questions on Facebook? Or are we good? I think we're good.
Okay.
I'll make sure not to invite you to my page, Suzette, just to spare you that.
Thanks.
Eli's squirmy. He's 4. He's 4 years old, and he's a pug, and he's cute.
Uh-huh.
I love him. But he has some bad habits. Like he leaves the top off the milk carton, and he uses my toothbrush. I'm just kidding. He's a dog. He has bad habits, like bad dog habits. Like he wakes up when I'm sleeping to go pee. No, he should sleep with me. Not go pee.
Depends on the dog.
Yeah, and hopefully he didn't just eat his poop. So yeah, this is Eli, and I'm gonna take care of that. I'm gonna go, so you take care, and I'll see you next week or whenever.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Bye.
Always so abrupt when David leaves. But there he went. Oh, I think he wants to come back. Okay, he wants to come. Why did he leave if he wants to come back? But he's messaging. He wants to. Please, David, come back to the show.
So, okay, sorry. Yeah, we're back.
Yes.
I owe Eli an apology. He didn't eat his poop.
Good.
He was a good boy, and he's learning. And so I wanted to come back. Don't fall asleep. We're on the Suzette Veneti show, bud. Anyway, he was a good boy, and so I wanted to give him his due and say that I'm proud of him. And I'm, this could have been a lot worse. So I'm glad that it worked out, and he didn't eat his poo. And also, the woman that I got Eli with, my ex-wife, she said he'd be ugly when he grew up, and he clearly... Hey, can you look at the camera?
He's not
Up here.
ugly. I
He
will say
clearly is still adorable.
he is.
So, yeah. We should turn on a light here. It's a little dark. Just show you off. Show you off.
I like when your segments have
The light.
an actual like purpose.
Ooh, that's a harsh light.
Okay.
How do we... That's better. Alright, cool. So, that's a good... This is a good shot of a... Yeah. Can you not look, like, tired? Look alive, man. Yeah. Okay, cool. I just wanted to show you Eli the Pug. Well, you've seen him, but I wanted to show your viewers. Hey, be awake.
I'm with him.
It's past
I think
bedtime.
it's you.
Anyway,
boring him
we're
and
gonna
me.
go. But be sure to like my page, Pug and Mario and DeFrog, on Facebook.
Oh, you're
Thanks
being
for having
funny.
me on, Suzette.
You're welcome.
And I'll see you later.
Goodbye. All right, that was David Shapiro. He's an actor. Sometimes he's a comic. Sometimes he's a producer. He does all sorts of things. Do we have... No? Okay. Interview guest is still stuck in traffic. So we're going to wait a little bit longer. We'll just stall. Are there any questions or comments?
No, not at the moment. I mean, we could see if there's anything that...
Yeah.
Maybe.
If anyone watching is like, I've always wanted to know this. Tell me this, Suzette. Go ahead and message in.
And hopefully we'll get Andrew in here.
Oh, yeah. He's a great comic.
Yeah.
You guys are going to like him. Andrew Orolfo. He's phenomenal. And he's been, like, you might have seen him on late night TV or in person. Either way, a treat. So really grateful, as always, for the guests that we get on the show. Next week will be no different. Next week, on December 6th, we have Liz, who is a fantastic drag queen in her own right. And she styles hair, which I love her for both things. And just because she's a wonderful person, honestly. Take away the hair, take away that she's a great drag queen. Liz is just a fantastic person. So I can't wait to get her on the show and interview her and virtually sit down and talk with her. So that's December 6th. And then I think I'm going to ask a pretty cool person to be a guest on the 13th. So that should be a good show too. It's not Santa Claus. If anyone was like, it's not Santa Claus. It's a non-denominational guest lineup is what we're going. I don't know if Santa Claus is denominational. Yeah, that's the way you'd say that. Okay, we're good still. So, Jesse, I like the Christmas tree you put up.
Yeah, the front looks pretty nice. Came out all right. Bob was asking if there were any plans at Stab for Christmas. I mean, we did just put up all of the decorations in the front window. We might still do some stuff back here. Who knows? I was thinking about whether or not we would do some sort of different special, put something together. But then I realized, well, for the last couple of years, we've had a sort of Christmas special. It's been the sort of, if not the last episode of the Stab show of the year, then pretty much in that area. It would fall on a Christmas Eve this year. That's the Thursday, the 24th. So I don't know if people will be available for that. I'm going to start putting out some feelers for the big family show that we've been doing the last couple years here. Basically representatives from all of the shows that we put on. And we've got a lot of people doing a lot of stuff this year. So people popping in, doing like one prompt a piece and rotating in and out. In the past, we've had White Elephant gift exchange here since they've been here.
Right.
That won't be a thing necessarily unless we can come up with something. But yeah, probably not going to reinvent the wheel Christmas special wise. I'm just going to try and see if we can get enough people that will be available on Christmas Eve to have a little Christmas show.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, it's a shame there aren't more Jewish comics.
Well,
I mean, there are. Not in Sacramento, though. There aren't too many. But Some people celebrate Christmas Day.
Yeah.
Some people have Christmas Eve free, and jumping on a show is a fun thing for a lot of people. So I
Yeah.
think you'll get some great people.
Yeah, so I think I'll reach out. Basically, use the same system. Like the first year we did it, it was just like favorites of the show. But last year, it was specifically trying to get like a representative of every show on the schedule to be a panelist. And for the most part, each show was represented by somebody that had already been a fairly regular guest on the Stab show. But a couple new folk came out of that, and we had a lot of fun with it. So that's what we're probably going to do, is reach out to folk like that again and see if that works out.
That's cool. And the Stab show you can catch on this network. It's would you call it a blend of improv and comedy?
No, we've always had a hard time describing it. It's all very tightly scripted. I mean, there's no real, except bantering back and forth. Not really an improv element. It's a pre-written comedy writing panel show. It's always been hard to describe. But guests are given prompts about 2 days before the show nowadays, and they've got that time to write their responses and perform for the first time on the show, live Thursday nights, 8 o'clock, right here on Stab. So,
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah. That's really cool. Any other plans to take time off or do like a Santa NORAD watch?
I don't know, because then I got to figure out if I'm going to do something on Christmas Day. I don't know. And then the next Thursday after that is New Year's Eve. So it seems like there could be a fun blowout of the year for that show. It's hard to say. I'm still working out Christmas plans. Probably should have worked, or holiday plans. Probably should have worked them out a little earlier, but that's where we are at the moment.
I don't think I fault you because it's 2020 and no one knows what they're doing with anything, let alone, my Thanksgiving was really quiet. I stayed home in Sacramento, didn't go to visit family or anything. So how do you know if the world's going to be functioning by Christmas? You don't. So, okay, guys, our guest is just about settled in. He had some gnarly traffic he fought, but I'm grateful that he fought it for us. He didn't have to do that. He could have just said, nope, not doing it tonight. But luckily, he's going to come hang out. So as soon as he gets here, we'll start right away with that interview. And honestly, this is about the time we do it anyway. So no Chelsea tonight. She was unavailable, unfortunately, for us. And no Mean Dave. He was also unavailable for us. But thank you to Clifton and to David Shapiro for coming by and helping us kind of fill air until our interview guest gets here. So, and also, I'm really bummed I can't show you guys this cute coat. But you'll have to come to brunch because I will be wearing it, especially if it's like 40 degrees. Not like for a number, just because, for a number specifically, not like over something else that doesn't work because it's cold. That's for hacks. Okay, cool. I hear someone in there, so we're ready? Getting situated. Okay, you let me know when we're ready. Absolutely.
Looks like may have even pulled over to just be able to, or no, it looks like there's still lights. He may be driving.
Well, I'll give a longer introduction, and when we're ready, we'll...
I'm not driving. I'm fine.
All right.
Oh, you're good?
I think he's ready.
Yeah, I'm parked.
All right, cool. Well, thank you. So he's on screen?
No.
Okay.
Intro him.
The voice you're hearing belongs to the next guest. He was featured on The Late Late Show with James Corden, and he was also appeared with Joe Coy in his Elements on Netflix. But you can catch him here at Stab Comedy TV on Tuesday the 3rd. Please welcome Andrew Orolfo.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm, cold, tired. You're in your car.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Sorry I couldn't be in front in like a cooler background. I was just doing a show at the beach.
Oh, right on. So social distancing?
Yes.
Okay. What was the turnout like?
There wasn't like that. It was like 20 people, but like it was literally in the sand. Everybody had their own little blankets, and there was a mic. It was fun.
Very cool. Yeah, I had 2 shows. I have a show every Sunday, and people just want live. Early in this show, so this is the 32nd episode. All the comics that would come on were like, no, not gonna do streaming. And then maybe somewhere in like June or July, people were like, you know what, I'll give streaming a try. People even got so bold as to say, I think this is gonna replace live entertainment. And I was like, no, never. Never. This is nice to have it when we can't have the other. But like, people are showing up to the beach to watch stand-up comedy.
I don't know if streaming will replace it, but I do enjoy it. I don't hate it like a lot of comics do.
What do you enjoy about it?
Well, if it's like a Zoom show, I mean, the feedback is still there. You know, when you tell jokes, it's like maybe it's a little delayed, but I mean, I'm still getting what I want from it. So it's still keeping me sharp. You know, I don't feel like I'm like losing a lot of stage time. I mean, I still count the Zoom shows as real stage time.
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm throwing out premises and ideas that I think are funny as I would on a normal stage, and it either gets a laugh or it doesn't.
I haven't known how to count them because I like to keep track and make notes, and I was like, well, this feels like a different medium, so I don't want to compare it. It's like apples and oranges. Like, I can't compare it to, like, you know, getting up at, it's Sacramento Punchline. I've only been to San Francisco Punchline. I think I've done 2 shows there. I would love to have you, by the way, in one of my shows when we all go back to normal.
I know.
But it's not exactly, to me, it's not the same. I mean, maybe it is to you. Do you feel like it's the same medium?
I mean, well, it depends. Like, if it's like a Zoom show where the audience, if I can see them and I can hear them, then I still count it as like a real, I mean, I still count it as like I guess a real show. I mean, I'll do, depending on what show it is, I'll do like really good stuff. But if it's like, say I'm like streaming video games, then I mean, I guess that would be considered a different genre.
I like the different genre aspect of it because you get to kind of, I've compared it to, you're still going to the gym, but instead of lifting weights, you're doing cardio now.
Yeah, that's a good way. That's a very good way of putting it, for sure. I believe in that.
Right on. I'm glad you're getting all your exercise in during the pandemic. That was my first question was, what have you been up to? But clearly it's not stopping you. And I get so mad. I mean, you are a much better comic than me, as all my guests usually are. But I don't want to stop entertaining. And I get so mad when people my level or better are like, no, I can't. There's a pandemic. I can't do anything. It's like, no, you can't do anything because you don't want to do anything. Like, even if you're just streaming video games, at least you're doing something to be entertaining. So
yeah, I mean, what's the saying? These are just the winds we have to sail in, you know. And yeah, I mean, you can. What is it? You can like not want to do these online things, but then you're. I mean, I feel like you're not using up the time. You know, you have to do something.
Yeah.
I mean, even though that, like, when I stream with like Animal Crossing stuff with Stab, like I use it pretty often, and I still feel like that still does something for me. You know, in comedy. I mean,
absolutely.
It's like weird, it's different, but I still feel like it's in the same comedy realm, you know, even with like when I stream video games, I still feel like I'm still in the vicinity of comedy.
You have to fill the airtime somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely, I've written more than I've ever written for stand-up during the pandemic, because I write a monologue for every show, and then I host 2 drag brunches every Sunday. And so talking to a crowd, it's different than doing stand-up, but you're still talking to a crowd, cracking jokes. It's really nice. And I have a friend of mine who I've been trying to get into stand-up. She's a great drag queen, and she's really funny naturally. But we laugh sometimes because if you make a bad joke to a drag audience, you can just say, well, the next performer's great. Give it up for Apple Adams. And that kind of saves you. You can't do that. I try to explain because there are a lot of drag queens that are like, oh, it looks easy. And I'm like, okay, you should try. Because you don't have that luxury. You know, if you're up there for 5 minutes, you're up there for 5 minutes. Like, good luck. Have fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I want to jump around in my questions a little bit. Because we've I feel like we've touched on this. I watched a clip where somebody played a prank on you, and
oh no,
yeah, and they told the audience not to laugh. And you were up there for your 5 minutes, and like I saw you. We hadn't met, but I saw you in 2017, host for Sarah Tiana.
Yeah.
So like
we talked.
Did we talk that night?
Yeah, I think we talked that night. Yeah, we talked.
Oh, then I'm an awful person.
No, it's okay.
But yeah, okay. So like, I've seen you more than enough times. I know you're funny. I know, like, you know what you're doing.
Thank you.
What did that feel like? So I'm gonna set it up for the audience because they didn't see the clip. We didn't show it or anything. But you go on stage, and a friend of yours says, "Don't laugh. It's his birthday." And then amazingly, they really stifled their laughter.
Yeah, that's wild. I I thought this country was divided, but turns out they can unify real quick for a certain reason. But yeah, so it was my birthday. It was literally the day of my birthday. And usually at Punchline, I'm like, on Sundays, I'm there like early, just because that's my home club. That's like, I want to get up. I want to hang out with my friends and stuff like that.
Sure.
And since it was my birthday, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to come late. I'm enjoying my day. I'm hanging out with my family.
Right.
I'm having a lovely day. And I was like, I'll show up to the Punchline 8:30 p.m., when the show starts at 8. So I'm going to be late. And I guess when I was on the way, I even texted one of my friends, Dawood, who's a funny comic.
Oh yeah,
I was like, hey,
definitely, he's funny.
He texted me. He was like, hey, where you at? And I was like, oh, I'm running a little bit late. And I didn't think anything of it. I was like, I didn't think, why would he text me that? He's never texted me that before. And then, so apparently they did a thing where they told the audience not to laugh. And there was a signal before I got on stage, which I didn't notice until after I got off stage. Because the host, right before I got up, the host was like, hey, I'm getting a little hot up here. So I think I'm going to take off my jacket. And I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. But I just thought, oh, that's our friend. He's just like a weird person. He's going to do that during hosting,
Uh-huh.
And turns out that was the signal. And then I get up and I go into like my like A shit, like stuff that I've been doing for like probably like a couple of years.
Right.
That like I finally found a set that I liked, and I just did it and got zero anything. Like no one laughed at all. It was amazing to get zero. Like I don't think I've ever gotten zero before.
Well, I have. So I got like lightweight PTSD from watching it because but the thing is, like you said, it was your A stuff, and with me, it's either I haven't figured out how to do jokes for that room because I don't ever blame the room.
Yeah, same.
I always, there's two comics that I always tell myself, look, it's not the room, because if Kyrie Shabazz was here or if DJ Sandu was here, they would get this room. They'd figure it out.
That's a good way of looking at it. That's so funny.
It like I've seen them get rooms to their side so often that I'm like, okay, it doesn't, like, we all have weak, like there are definitely crowds that aren't going to like this, but there's somewhere that we can connect, and there's somewhere that we can at least say, look, I'm up here for 5 minutes. So I've had that moment where no one was laughing, but I knew it was me. I just hadn't figured it out. And I'm watching you. I'm watching the clip of you, and like, I know what was going through your head.
Yep.
Because at the time I thought it was my best stuff. At the time I was like, oh, they should be laughing. And I was like, oh my God, like I felt for you so much. I have to say though, interesting, because I did a little bit of research on you because I like to like be prepared for my guests.
Of course.
There was a couple articles saying that like strangely, even given the demographics of the Bay Area, you are one of very few male Asian comics.
Yeah.
I mean, it was an older article, so like
it was older. So at the time, I think it was just a weird time that a few people left to where it just kind of ended up being like only a couple. But like right before that article, a bunch of people just like had moved. I think like so for that probably like month or two where they wrote the article, there wasn't that many male Asian comics.
Was this when was the prank video? When was that?
The what video?
The prank where no one laughed.
Oh, I think that was March 25th. I think 2018.
Okay, so it was before that article. Okay, because that was
that the video was before the article.
I was gonna say all they would have had to do was say like, okay, guys, we don't want to stereotype, but he's a man, he's Asian, his name's Andrew. Like this whole like I'm getting hot, I'm gonna take off my jacket. That seems, if I were you, I'd have been like, what's going on? But maybe not, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think I don't know. That was just like one of the questions, but I think it was just more because they wrote it during Asian History Month.
Okay.
So it was more a piece about like Asian, like being Asian as an artist in SF.
Mm-hmm.
But then one of the questions was like, oh, there's not that many Asian comics considering how big the population of Asians are in the Bay Area. So I don't think they were trying to say, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think they're trying to say that there's not that many Asian comics. I think they're just trying to say, compared to like the millions of Asian people, there's only like 10 of 10, you know, which is like, yeah, kind of true. You know?
No, that's maybe I misrepresented, but that's kind of what it was saying is like the number of comics proportionate to the population size is out of balance, given you would expect there to be how many straight white guy comics are there? Like
exactly
30 million per block. So in San Francisco, where the demographics are a little bit different, you would just expect that to follow suit, but it didn't.
But the Asians are just doing they got real jobs. They got the real high-paying jobs. I got stuck with comedy.
Well, but you're good at it, so
thank you.
Whether you got stuck or not, I think it benefits the art form, and I think it's better off for having you in it. But yeah, just to put a bow on that story, I'll let the audience know. Eventually, you said like, "What's going on?" and everyone lost it at that point. And then there was a relief, and it ended before you ended. So I don't know if you did material or if you just had fun.
I think I did one joke after I did a bunch of crowd work, and it was fine. But so to get them, I said, "Are you guys playing a trick on me?" And I said that out of pure panic. Like I didn't know, because I thought that was just going to be like, "Oh, ha ha ha!" I didn't know that they were playing a trick on me. I just said that out of pure like, maybe this will get them. You know, maybe if I say it's a trick, they'll be like, oh, he's self-aware. You know, he gets what's going on.
The whole like a lesser comic would say like, oh, you guys just don't want to laugh tonight. I hate that. I hate that. I hate when people say that.
Same, man.
I'll say something like, oh man, I am not what you guys need tonight. Like I am not doing it right.
Yeah.
Well.
And it was crazy because I was. You don't understand how much I was feeling myself that day. You know, I was having such a good day. I was wearing in the video. I don't know if you could tell. I was wearing a fur coat.
Oh, No, I was
Yeah.
actually going to ask you about your onstage attire, so please go on.
I was wearing a fur coat. It was my birthday. I had a little bit of money. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a fur coat. And then I was like, I'm gonna go to Punchline and wear a fur coat. I thought it was so sick. And then I get on stage, and part of me was like, is it because I'm wearing a fur coat? Like, is that why nobody likes what I'm doing? Right? Do they think I'm like an asshole or something? And then turns out it's just a joke. But still, never worn that jacket ever again.
Ever? Not even off stage?
Not even out. Not even out.
Oh,
Never,
wow. But
maybe
it was,
if at home when I'm like cold, I'll wear it. But
it was a prank.
I never wore that. Yeah, never wore it again.
Okay, well, if you do my show, if I come back, I mean, you can do it in SAC, but whenever we get back to normal, because I think it might have been the last thing that happened at Punch in San Francisco, because we did a show on the 10th, and then everything shut down. No, because they have shows on Wednesday and stuff, but we were on a Tuesday, and then everything shut down like 4 days later. So, but I promise, it'll be a safe space to wear the coat. And
I would love to.
And redeem it and get a better memory from it.
Yeah.
And if it makes you, I will wear a ridiculous fur coat to introduce you. It'll be a whole thing that we'll have.
Super down.
Okay, so let me find my, because I got out of order. What you have performed so many places. What is the most interesting venue you've performed at?
Interesting venue. Let's see. Haven't really performed in any like interesting venues at all. Nothing too crazy. Maybe. Oh, I did recently. I did that drive-through show in San Jose at a baseball field.
Oh.
Like, that one was kind of crazy.
Wait, so you were in the parking lot or you were on the field?
No, I was on home base, and
Yes.
then it was a drive-in, so there are cars in the outfield.
Oh, wow. So you were like 300 feet away.
I was very far away.
Yeah. Because I saw that the baseball field, I saw that Melissa Villaseñor from SNL just threw up a post one day where she was going to the baseball field and she stood on the pitcher mound and people sat in the stands. And I was like, that's the coolest idea. I wish I could get booked in a show. I need to produce that show apparently so I can do it. But
Yeah, do it.
no, doing it from home to the outfield is nice range, I guess. Like,
Yeah, so it's pretty far. It was interesting. It was still fun, but it was different. It was very different than what I'm used to.
I think that counts for interesting venue. What do you like about stand-up comedy?
That's a good question.
Thanks.
I don't know. For me, it's always been like the joke writing. I think that's fun. Like tinkering with words and putting them in a specific order to. That's always been like fun. They're like little jokes are almost like little puzzles you got to solve, and the laugh means you solved it, and that's probably the funnest part for me, at least. That's why I like it.
Do you have a favorite?
It's fun. It's fun. Yeah. You know that. It's fun.
There's nothing like it. Like,
yeah.
There's no art form that's quite like doing stand up.
Yeah.
And I miss having like I said, I do have a live crowd, every Sunday, but it's not the same. I want to do stand up. Do you have a favorite city for comedy?
Ooh, favorite city.
Because you travel a lot. Let me tell the audience that.
Favorite city. I don't know if it's favorite city to do comedy might be San Francisco, just because that's a home. That's where I came up and stuff like that. And I know the audience in Northern California. But the best set I ever had, I think, was in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
You know what? So Torio.
Yeah.
Torio Van Grohl. He was on the show on the 1st, so 4 weeks ago? Yeah. And he said he said he loves doing comedy in Minneapolis.
Yeah, so good, so fun.
He kind of, his hypothesis was it's cold, and people want to pack into a warm room and be entertained. So if you can just sell some tickets, you'll have a great show.
Yeah. I had an incredible time there. When I went, it was very cold. Where else? Houston, I like a lot, and Atlanta was a lot of fun. The South is fun.
For some people.
Yeah.
So you said you know the audience in San Francisco. What's different about the audience? We don't have to make it one city, but like what's a? I mean, I know we've had people on before, and they're like, oh, I can't do tech jokes. Is it that simple, or is there something more nuanced?
No. I think it's just like the Bay Area has some like type of like swag and culture to it that I know, and that I'm like that's who I am. So I feel like people kind of, I guess, relate to, or just like are familiar with like the type of person that I am that they've seen around. You know what I mean? Like
relatable.
Yeah. Like people, a lot of time, I don't know. I've been told this, like people, like when I do like other comics from other cities, they'll be like, "Oh, you're a Bay comic." Like people can tell that you're like a Bay Area comic.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like this. It's just like a very weird, specific vibe. I don't know.
I think it makes sense. Like that's where you're taking it back to a gym. Like if everyone at your gym, make sure they bench, to use a metaphor, like, oh, that's a San Francisco thing. They really care about benching. I don't know. I'm off with my metaphor, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it's just a type of vibe,
Is there a city that you're not in a hurry to get back to? You don't have to answer. I don't want to ruin any gigs.
No, you're fine. Not really. I'll go anywhere. That's not about that. Though I'll say the worst set I've ever had was in Boca Raton, Florida.
Oh. Is the demographic
that was a nightmare.
Elderly Jews do they not have the same swagger?
It wasn't. I was doing surprisingly, I was doing a college.
Oh, I didn't know there was a college in Boca.
Yeah, it was, or maybe it was like a city over or something like that.
Sure.
But that's where I flew into. But it was quite an experience. I'll put that right after my birthday.
No,
worst bomb for sure.
I've gotten to do one college show with a friend, and it was like, oh, you guys got credit to be here, and a better comic would make you laugh, but I'm not that one. So why don't I just go ahead and bring that comic up? Here we go. Yeah, that's how I felt.
You were like hosting, right? Or was that?
I was, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I had to be up there for like an hour.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Yeah, we've talked about on the show, this show recently. Chelsea and Mean Dave.
Yeah,
they came to one of my drag brunches, and the day they came, I did a number that was kind of an inside joke, just for the three of us, and I didn't think about like, oh, that's not gonna go well. So it felt like I've referred to it as my Make-A-Wish day, because it felt like the audience was like, oh, you won a prize to be here. We'll just clap politely and you'll go away. So an hour, what do you do? What do you do if the audience isn't feeling you for an hour?
There's nothing I could do. I was trying to do everything I could, crowd work, riffing, nothing worked. And it's just like, sometimes you just gotta power through. But that wasn't the worst thing about it. It's just, sometimes when I do college shows, I'll do these things where I'll do, it's a Q&A kind of thing, but I'll mask it as like a therapy session. like a one-on-one therapy with the students. So I'll be like, hey, if you have any issues in your life, if you have any questions about what's going on in the world, any advice on relationships, I'll answer them. I'm not qualified, you know, and that's why it's like kind of funny. It's just like it gets the kids involved, and it makes it a little more weird. It's different. And then I did that at this gig, and the kids were just like, that's so mean. Like, they like, usually it's like the kids are like, hey, how do I break up with my boyfriend? Or how do I stay in how do I say this to like my parents? How do I get money or something? It's like fun little cute stuff. But this school was like, this kid came up, he's like, I got herpes. What do I do? I'm like, okay, I can't talk to you about that. This was supposed to be fun, you know? Like, I'm not supposed to. And then like one kid came up and he sat on. So I'll have two chairs. So I'll be like a therapist talking to someone in a chair.
Sure.
And then one kid just sat in the chair. I would talk to him and he wouldn't say anything. He would just sit there for like 5 minutes. And like I couldn't, and then there's like administrators there, there's staff that I can't just be like, hey, you're fucking things up, get the fuck off the stage.
Right.
Kind of shit.
Because you want to come back, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it's more, I want to get my check and
right.
coming back, you know? So, yeah, so I can't be like, hey, dude, get the fuck off. But, can I swear? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
Oh.
we cuss all the time, you know.
Okay.
So, because let me throw a cuss word into the next question. It's a huge fucking risk to give an audience member a mic because they could be an asshole and say something stupid.
Yeah.
So that's almost what you're doing with that. So that's a ballsy move, but I imagine that normally you get some good riffing off of what they say. Yeah.
But it's one thing to give like a heckler a mic. I'm like inviting like kind of like honest little kids who are just trying to have fun, you know. They're not saying something to me and then I'm like, oh yeah, you think you're good? Well, here's the mic. I'm actually like very welcoming, and I'm like,
oh no, that's just dumb. Like anyone that does that, I've never done that. I couldn't think of a word once, and so I asked a guy in the audience, and then afterward I was like, oh, that could have really gone sideways. Maybe don't do that one again. Maybe just ask him and then repeat it. Lesson learned.
Yeah.
Check that off the accomplishment list. So when you do shows at colleges, what are the unique challenges of doing it there as opposed to a club?
That's funny. So basically it's your show, and once you learn that, then it's a lot easier because a lot of comics, they'll go into it and it's just run by the students. It's basically like 17-year-olds trying to run basically a comedy club, right? Or a full-on show.
Right.
So they don't really know what they're doing. They've never even like been into a comedy club. They're not old enough. So, or some of them, you know, so they don't know. There's like little things that make the show better, as in like you have to take it into your own hands to make it good. So for instance, they don't turn off the lights. You know what I mean? That's one thing that elevates the performance so much better. I just go up to them and be like, hey, can you just like turn off the lights? Because they'll keep them on, like full on, like you're tanning. You know what I mean? Like, then another one is like, hey, just play music up front, because they won't do that. Just play some music, set the mood, you know, set the vibe.
Okay.
There's no host, so you usually they'll just be like, hey, we have a comic for you, Andrew Orolfo, and then that's it. But what you can do is just be like, hey, you want to do, or if a lot of times comics, young, like people that want to try comedy, they'll talk to me before the show and be like, hey, I want to do comedy. I'll be like, hey, you can do 5 minutes right now. I will give you the time, like go do it. And that's fine, because then they warm up the crowd real well, because like the students see that another student got to go up, they're like, oh, this dude's cool. Like, he put one of our friends up. That's great. And then they'll just enjoy the show. I'll even, I hope my agent's not watching, but sometimes I'll let the students like close.
Oh, wow.
So like sometimes when I'm doing the Q&A portion of the show, a lot of the students will be like, hey, I want to do comedy. What do I do? I was like, you have to get up all the time. I'm like,
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, and this has happened maybe 15, 20 times to where they're like, I don't know. We're in a city that doesn't have open mics. I'm like, well, do you want to go up right now? And then they'll always be like, yes. And if they're shy, I'll be like, hey, should we put this person up? And then obviously the students are going to be like, yeah, put them up. And then they go up, they crush harder than anything I've ever said on stage, because that's,
Of course.
their friends are so amazed that their friend is on stage right now. And then I go, that was amazing. Thank you. Good night. And then I leave.
So, I mean, I hope I don't have an agent, but I hope if I ever get one, they don't watch this. But what I've been told is it's just about filling it. Look, if you have an hour to fill, you fill the hour with questions, with an act. You can talk about Lunchables. Just fill the hour, be entertaining. And so if you're having students open or close, that counts. That's you're filling the hour.
Well, I mean, I also think I love comedy so much, and when I see someone who's young who wants to do it, I'm like, yes, do it. Like you can do it. So sometimes students will message me and be like, hey, can I open for you? I'm like, yes, of course. Hell yeah, that's fun. Like, I mean, it does like less. It gives me less time on stage. Yeah, sure. But it also, for me, it's like, oh, this is cool. Like I get to like help someone out with like, even if it's not their dream, it's like, oh, I get to help them try it out. And I think that's like fun. That's,
I think
like, cool.
that's really cool. That's definitely cool. I would like to do colleges one day, and that's a cool idea to kind of share. And pay it forward, I guess. Is there a favorite college that you do comedy at?
There have been I don't know if I have a favorite, but there's been a lot of good ones. Most, like 95% of the colleges are great. Such cool people. Do you do universities and colleges, or just like because the one I did was a commuter college, so I felt I've done both.
Okay, because I felt really out of my element there because I went to a university, and so I was like, I don't have anything in common with these kids from my experience at school.
Yeah, I didn't go to college, so this was so it's nice to go back.
Right
I
on.
guess, or like try it out.
Neat.
Most of them are fine. Most of them are really cool. All the students are great.
So you have a lot of jokes about your girlfriend.
Yeah.
How does she feel about that?
She's cool with it. I mean, she hasn't said anything yet, so. But I don't feel like any of the jokes about my girlfriend are me talking down to her or being upset. It's just stuff that like me and her experience together. It's more like I mean, yeah, there are jokes about my girlfriend, but it's mostly stuff that we share.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It's when I was watching, it's stuff that you would definitely say to her. It's not stuff that you're like saying behind her back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we talk all the time, Chelsea, because she's on the show every week as a contributor. Dating an artist, dating an entertainer, can be, and she dated a guy who was like, "Oh, I don't want to be in your act," and it's like, "Well, you want to be part of my life, though," so it's kind of how it's like. That's what I'm going to talk about is my life. Mm-hmm. So, do you have to do you clear the jokes with her first? Do you say like, "Oh, I'm going to tell this joke"?
No, I don't think I've ever had to, because most of the times when I think of the joke, it's when I'm with her. So, I think every joke that I've had that's like has her involved, it happened that instance, and then I was like, "Oh, this is a good joke," like in front of her, and she's like, "Oh, okay, sure." She doesn't care.
She's unimpressed. She's like,
yeah.
Who's her favorite comic? Let me ask that. Who does she like to watch?
What was that?
Who does she like to watch?
I don't really know. She's not a huge fan of stand-up comedy
Oh,
at all.
okay. I thought you were gonna say like a Pier 69 guy, and I was like, that's awkward for you. And you were like, no, she just doesn't like. Does she have a good sense of humor?
Yeah, she has her sense. She like gets jokes and stuff, but I don't think she ever saw a stand-up comedy show until she met me, and she doesn't watch it on Netflix or on YouTube. I don't think she's ever searched up stand-up comedy clips, but she's more of like cat videos kind of thing,
Some people are. Some people like cat videos.
funny cooking stuff,
which is usually not that funny.
Funny bake shows.
Does she like any of your jokes?
Yeah, she does.
Okay.
I mean, that's why I kind of like that she doesn't listen to or watch stand up, just because if I make her laugh, then it's kind of like, okay, then there's something there. Because
she's the highest bar, and if you can, like,
Exactly.
I have people that, like, if I'm like, oh, if I make that person laugh, this is stage ready. I don't need to
Exactly.
open mic it past that.
Yeah.
So I mentioned your podcast, Pier 69. Or I'm sorry, what's the name of the podcast?
Pier 69. Yeah.
Okay,
that's
cool.
it.
All right. Pier 69 is the name of the podcast. It's also, I guess, a way to collectively refer to the guys that host it.
Yeah.
Some of the, like, you and Daoud and Mark, and I don't know, Joe, right?
Yeah, Joey.
I've never seen Joey, but I've seen the other three of you, and, like, you guys are really funny. How did that come about?
Well, I've known Mark since I was like 13 years old. I was basically as like an older brother kind of thing. Like his friends hung out, or like his friends were my friends' younger brothers, and we all kind of like skateboarded together. And like I did an open mic back in 2012, and I used to work with Mark, and I was like, hey, I just did an open mic, you wanna try it? And then he was like, yeah. And then ever since then, we kept it moving. Then we met Daoud and Joey like a few months later. And we were just like, oh, we enjoy each other's company. So we just started rolling with each other.
That's cool. Do you guys know who the funniest is?
We each have our different strengths.
Oh, that's political.
For sure. If all three of us are so different. We're so different.
Four of you.
And yeah, we have. I think if we each combined into one person, we'd be a decent comedian.
Oh, like if you Voltron together.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, it's 2020, so like anything goes. Is it? So one thing I noticed in watching a lot of clips, you kind of have a stage look. Would you say that's accurate?
Oh, like a hoodie all the time?
Like a hoodie and then a jacket.
Yeah. So I go to thrift stores like a lot, and I find these like fun jackets that are just like weird, like from like companies that don't even exist anymore. And I used to go to this thrift. I used to go to this thrift store. I still do, and I have all these like cool jackets that don't have my name on them. They have someone else's name, and I think they're fun. I don't know, and I just love being bundled up. I don't know why.
Because you live in San Francisco and it's fucking cold.
Yeah. I like going on stage in layers, and that's like fun.
Yeah, and if you want to prank somebody, you have a jacket you can take off, and it's already there. So another thing that I saw is you were quoted as saying having a good social media game is important in stand-up. Am I repeating that right?
I don't know. Did I say that? I don't remember.
I think so. I mean, maybe I'm making it up. Would you agree? Let me just ask it like this. Would you agree to the statement that having a good social media game is important?
Do I agree with it? Yeah. Do I do it? No.
What okay, well I was gonna ask you to teach me how to have a good social media game, but you don't do it.
I'm bad.
Okay.
I'm like bad in social media in the sense like so I do stand-up comedy, so that's what people expect to see on my page, but then it's just me in like fun outfits. You know what I mean?
Does it get good feedback though?
I mean, I guess. I mean, I like to think so, but I feel like a lot of people will come to my IG thinking I'm going to have hell of stand-up clips or sketches, and then they just see me trying on like cool outfits and like posting posts about like sneakers and stuff like that.
I mean, honestly, that sounds a lot like my Instagram. Like, it's just different outfits, just different looks. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to put, if something really funny happens, like, I don't know. I'm with you. I think that's what Instagram's for. I don't think it's for clips and sets. That's what YouTube's for. Okay, well, we'll skip all those questions. I thought I read that. I must have read wrong. Or you said it and you changed your mind. Either was, you know. But it was probably me. Let's see. Oh, that's it, honestly, because the next question is about the prank set. Is there anything I wasn't smart enough to ask you?
No, you're great. This was fun.
Thanks.
I've actually, a lot of these I haven't been asked before, so this was nice.
Oh, well, it's a pleasure, and you know, I keep wondering, like, oh man, how am I gonna just keep, my guests are like impressive guest after impressive guest after impressive guest, and I'm like, I'm not gonna run out. Like, they're always gonna be, like, you know, like I've met Daoud, like I could ask Daoud, but like eventually, like I'm gonna run out of people that know me. So I guess that's where like social media might come in. Like, no, look at all the cool people. I swear they did it. I do finish my interviews with rapid fire. Do you mind, Andrew, if I ask you rapid fire questions?
Of course.
All right. If you were performing tonight, what would your walk-up song be?
I'm From the Bay by Neff the Pharaoh.
What is your favorite recurring show to perform in?
Wait, occurring what?
Like regular recurring show to perform in?
I guess my Monday show, every Monday, Starline Comedy.
And
online, on Zoom.
It's on Zoom?
Yep.
Okay. And people can find it how?
Starline Comedy on Instagram.
Okay. Do you have a favorite venue? I think I know the answer, but do you have a favorite venue to perform in?
This is a fun... Sorry, this isn't rapid fire enough.
You know, it never is. I should probably change the name. It's more fun when it's not. You're
Okay,
good.
so I'll go, if it was a club, Punchline. Independent venue, Starline.
Okay. What is the funniest thing an audience member has ever said to you after a show?
No one's really said anything
Really?
funny, but more like racist.
Okay. Believe it. I believe it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna check you. I was gonna be like 8 years and no one said anything funny to you, but now I know why, because they thought they were.
Yeah,
being funny.
it's mostly like weird Asian shit people will say to me. Like one person was like, "I like how you don't do a lot of Asian stuff." I was like, "Okay, I'm Asian, so I'm technically doing Asian stuff." So
right, everything you're doing is.
Yeah.
Yeah. They didn't understand that.
I get what he was trying to say, but that's also super disrespectful.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Let's see the next one. Who is your favorite comic?
Favorite comic? Maybe. I never really have like a favorite. I like so many people. Let's go Michael Che.
I like Michael Che. That's a good answer. What is your favorite thing about the existence of brunch?
Eggs Benedict.
If you ever come to my brunch in Sacramento, we have a Cajun crab Benedict, It's
Ooh.
really good. It is.
Love that.
I don't know if I'm gonna say it's worth the drive, but I would treat you if you drove all the way from San Francisco. It's that good.
I'm actually in LA now.
Oh, you're in LA.
Yeah, I live in LA.
Oh, I did bad research. I could have had all sorts of questions. It's not worth that drive. I'm gonna go ahead and say
Yeah, I'm sure I could find some eggs Benny down here.
probably. Yeah, if you're up here, it's good, but
Yeah.
it's not worth I don't know how long it takes you. It's not worth a 4-hour drive.
Yeah.
No transition from brunch to this question. Do you have a favorite sex position? You don't have to disclose.
I like being on top.
Fair. Do you cook or bake? Also, no
Bake.
transition.
Bake.
Really?
I like baking more than I like actual cooking.
What do you like about baking?
I can be more creative with it.
Really? I thought it was the opposite.
Bake. Well, I mean, like if I'm baking like a cake,
Uh-huh.
you know, I could put frosting and like cool things on it.
Oh, okay. So like
Yeah.
add-ons, not with the recipe. You can't be creative.
Oh yeah, no, I meant like visually.
Oh, okay. So like plating it.
Hmm.
Got it. I've watched enough Chopped. I had to throw out that term and sound like I knew what I was talking about. If we are at a show at the bar and someone is buying us shots, what are we getting?
Tequila.
Oh, what kind?
Casamigos.
Okay. I get really mad when people are like, whatever. I'm like, no, someone's buying it. Why are you saying whatever? If we're drinking drinks, what are we drinking?
See, I don't really drink that much, so like I guess my go-to back in the day was I haven't drank all like quarantine, so my go-to would be tequila soda with extra lime. But if I'm feeling myself, then I'll go old fashioned.
Oh, that's a classy drink. Okay, this one is probably the most important question.
Yeah,
Toilet paper, over or under?
over.
Thank you. Okay, that's the only correct answer. But in doing this show for 32 weeks now and having more guests than that, because we sometimes will do 2 guests in a show, I'm not mad at the under people. I get irate when someone's like, oh, I don't care.
Oh wow.
I'm like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Like, you don't care. At
Yeah.
least care wrong.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite drag queen?
I don't know too many, like personally.
Okay.
You?
Oh, well, thank you. There are some great ones in LA and San Francisco.
Okay.
Trying to
Oh, actually, can I take that back?
yeah, please.
I mean, I know I enjoy you very much.
Thank you.
That's not what I meant, but I saw now I'm forgetting her name. She Clusterfest 2017.
Did she do stand up or did she do a lip sync?
Roasting on stage.
Roasting.
Oh my gosh. It's 3 words. Del something.
Oh, Bianca Del Rio.
Yes.
Yes.
Incredible.
Oh,
Incredible.
no, I know. She is a stand-up comedian first.
Okay.
And I don't know if she was first, but I mean that's what she has shows that are like at like the O2 Arena in London. Like she's doing big shows. And
Yeah.
one time she was here in Sacramento and I had my show, you know, I book my shows through Punchline and Live Nation, so I got to take the dates they give me, you know, 2 or 3 months in advance if I can get it. And so I had my date, and then Bianca Del Rio was in town the same night, and I was like, oh, that sucks. What do we do? Because I can't tell people like this is going to be better. Like I was like, there are 2 great shows, and that one cost more, so you know maybe it's sold out. If it is, come to mine. The promos were weird. Bianca Del Rio is a great answer. So
okay, cool.
Well played. And I'm not mad at all that you took it back on me, because it's just always when people say it, it's like, oh, I don't know anybody. And like that's I'll take it all day. I love attention and I love adoration, but I haven't done anything to earn it.
Yeah.
So, and like Bianca Del Rio definitely has. So she wins. Do you have a favorite drag king? I'm gonna say probably not.
Yeah, I don't know any.
Okay. There is an amazing drag. I don't know any personally in LA, but next time you're in San Francisco, there's an amazing king named Buster Right Open.
Okay.
And that, to me, like Buster does drag at like the highest level. So if you ever catch that, not stand up like Bianca Del Rio, or to a lesser degree me, but I love when people get to see art at its, done best. So this is just, I need to know, do you think I'm pretty? I just like to ask everybody
of course.
Thank you. See, I do like compliments. I'll give back the comment. I just want to be pretty. Okay, last question. When all of this is over and we go to a new normal or an old normal or whatever normal is, what are you most excited to do?
Just to see all my friends without masks. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, that's a good one. Awesome. Andrew, thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And people can catch you on Stab on the 3rd, right?
Yeah, for our new Haha Horizons. Or no, wait, the other one. Yes, I'm on Stab, I think, next week 2 times, right?
Are you? Well, yeah. All right. Well, the 3rd, we're finally getting Andrew for his first run on the Stab show.
Oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he'll have prompts in 2 days. It's gonna be It's gonna be an interesting show because it's almost 3 completely new folks. So it's Andrew doing his first time, a friend of mine, Jason Weitzel, an improviser, doing his first time, and Ungayo's finally coming back for just his second time. So it's gonna be like one of the freshest panels we've had in 8 years. So yeah.
A fresh Stab on Thursday the 3rd. And then you said you have Starline every Monday?
Every Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific. Yep, just go to Starline Comedy on IG or Facebook.
Okay, cool. Well, people should definitely look you up.
Thank you.
You are great, and I am so grateful that you came on.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Drive safely. Thanks for stopping for us.
All right, thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. That was Andrew Orolfo. And he's great. So look him up. Send him some coin if you can. He's out there working. And you should look him up when he comes to a baseball field, a beach, or a club near you. You'll be glad you did. And that's the show. We had everybody. So I'm going to go home and eat. Jesse, any plans?
No. Yeah, I'm just going to head home myself.
Okay, cool. We'll be back next week, December 6th, with Liz, and we should have our full panel of contributors. So join us then, 5:03 p.m. Suzette Veneti Show. Thanks for tuning in.
Oh, let's get that. Oh, there we go.
Feeling my way through the darkness, guided by a beating heart. I can't